Hello, hi, and welcome back to the Strategic Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Blue, and I am a business astrologer and strategist here to help you use astrology and human design so that you can start, grow, and scale your online business. This episode is really special because we're going to be kicking off a much needed mini series breaking down what I think is the most essential part to really using astrology to grow and scale your business, the midheaven. Now, if you've been around for a while, you already know that the midheaven is my favorite placement in the birth chart, and it is the most essential placement when we're talking about business astrology. And I get so many questions from business owners from all experiences that are like, what is the midheaven and how exactly do I use it to actually grow my business and hit my business goals? So we're going to be kicking off a mini series that I am calling Master Your Midheaven. If you have been in my world for a while, you may remember that I've had a course, I've had all types of things underneath that umbrella, but I am in the process of revamping, and I'll be revealing this new framework that I'm using to help make this process so much easier for you. But I figured why not bring it back to basics and kick off this series so that you're able to go back and really break down just how fantastic the midheaven is and different ways that you can use it to guide your framework and foundation for your business and your business model. So this episode is going to be kicking off the Master Your Midheaven series, and definitely make sure you listen to the rest of the episodes when they come out to really get the most out of this experience. In this episode in particular, we're going to be focusing on the first part of understanding your midheaven, which is the midheaven sign and how you can use it for your brand positioning. So make sure that you are tuned in, grab a notepad or an open notes app, and let's get into it. So the midheaven is the most essential part to business astrology. It is the placement that I always go back to. And whenever it comes to figuring out how you can truly grow and scale your business, you don't actually need the entire chart. And I see this quite often. So many business owners get so excited about business astrology that they want to dive into every single nook and cranny of their chart. But in that process, you get so overwhelmed and it becomes so much harder to figure out exactly what is needed, what's essential. And you get into a little bit of a freeze moment when it comes to actually using the information. So I want you to take a step back and release this pressure to know absolutely everything about your birth chart, because unless you're an astrologer professionally, you don't actually need to know that. What you need to focus on as a business owner is what is essential and needed and necessary for you to take action to grow and scale your business. That's it. Everything else is a fun extra. So with this Master Your Midheaven series, my goal is to really bring it back to basics and make it so simple for you to go out and truly master this one placement, because it's truly all that you need as a service-based business owner to bring astrology into your business strategy and grow and scale your business. So this episode is going to be focused only on your midheaven sign. And the other parts of this mini series will focus on other aspects to the midheaven, but I want you to just keep that lens in mind as you are moving through this series. Focus only on the aspect of the midheaven that we're talking about as through each episode, and I promise you're going to get so much more out of it. So why start with the midheaven sign? Well, this is the most visible part of your midheaven. When you're looking at your birth chart and you figure out what your midheaven is and where it is, which I have resources on how to figure that out if you aren't quite sure what that is just yet, you can check those out. The very first thing that you encounter after you recognize what your midheaven is the midheaven sign. Now, the midheaven sign is represented by the sign that rules over your midheaven placement, okay? Within business astrology, this is a specific energy for how you're meant to be recognized and seen. The midheaven is the most visible part of your birth chart. It is the placement that rules over your vocation. So the work that not only that you do as a business owner, but what is the most potent and the most heart-led for you. It is what means the most to you. It is what drives you forward. And even if you weren't doing it full-time or professionally, this is still work that would be near and dear to your heart and very close to what you need to do in order to feel emotionally fulfilled. That's why the midheaven is such a big deal. It's not just about the work that we do on a daily basis, which is a whole other part of the chart, but this is the work that truly means and matters the most to us. So when you're able to transmute that energy and bring it into your business is able to scale in the most beautiful way. So by focusing on your midheaven sign, you're really able to dig into the specific way that you are meant to be seen and recognized. And as we move through the rest of this mini-series, you'll recognize how to differentiate yourself from other people who also have the same midheaven sign, because we are all unique individuals. And even though there are only 12 zodiac signs, there's only 12 signs that your midheaven can fall into. There's so many different ways to express that energy. So for example, I have a Taurus midheaven, and the specific way that I use my Taurus midheaven is drastically different from other people who also have Taurus midheavens, even if they're also astrologers or business strategists or online business owners. There's so many different ways to express this. But again, we are just going to focus on the midheaven sign for this episode. And the way that I want to break this down and really walk you through the different types of ways that you can express this energy is by really looking at the elements. So let's start off by talking about the fire signs, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. If you have your midheaven in one of these signs, then you have a fire-ruled midheaven. And also, I love this energy for the midheaven. So fire signs are connected to deep passion, right? And whenever I encounter clients that have fire signs ruling their midheaven, then this is really crucial for big, bold leadership energy. This is like the type of energy that you're meant to step into and lead and show your face, be visible, take up a lot of room and a lot of space within the work that you do. So your vocation, the work that is the most deeply connected to how you feel fulfilled, that is going to be driven by your desire to be bold, to be seen, to be visible, which is in conflict with other aspects of your chart, especially when we're looking at the angles within the birth chart. So your ascendant, your descendant, as well as your IC. All of these play off of each other. So in order for you to truly step in and make the most out of your fire-ruled midheaven, it's going to require you to take up a lot of space, to be quite bold and loud and visible within your business. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be big and loud and bold in the sense of being an extrovert. You can definitely be an introvert and still be in alignment with that introverted energy and still work with your fire-ruled midheaven. This is really about taking up space for the things that matter to you. So again, if you are someone that is more introverted, it might be more beneficial for you to focus in on maybe narrowing your niche, which we'll talk about in future episodes, or really focusing in on what it is you want to be known for and sharing the things that are most potent for you. Instead of pressuring yourself to share every single aspect of your life, focus in on the specific things within your business and perhaps behind the scenes of how you run your business. Those things you can be bold and loud about and still maintain that privacy that you energetically require just as an individual. So when we're talking about brand positioning, right? So really, how do you position yourself within the business landscape, especially when we're looking at digital tools like social media and just the online landscape? You can use your midheaven to really position yourself as someone who is very much in alignment with taking up space, with being very bold and visible in your branding. So what I mean by that is literally showing your face. If you have a fire ruled midheaven, you need to be on video, on camera, literally talking to your people. We need to see how you look, how you express yourself, how you talk, your accent, your different facial expressions, even how you adorn yourself, how you get ready to present yourself to the world is very crucial for fire ruled midheaven. So taking the time to put on your favorite clothes, to even like this, again, I'm a Taurus midheaven, so this is a me thing, but this may carry over for you and may be relevant for you as well. But I always like to have specific scents that I'm using, so like perfumes or perfume oils. And even though you can't smell it if I'm recording a podcast or recording a video, right, it still gets you in that energy. So having some sort of ritual that allows you to maintain that bold, visible energy can be very beneficial for you if you have a fire ruled midheaven, as well as positioning your brand as one that's going to help champion your clients to do the same thing. How can you use your confidence and your boldness and your loudness for the benefit of your clients, to help them to find these things within themselves and to take up more space, to get more visible in showing up for the things that matter to them? That is going to be key, especially when it comes to positioning your brand and your business apart from other folks who have other midheavens. The next element that I'm going to be talking about are the Earth midheavens. So fellow Taurus midheavens, Virgo, and Capricorn. If you have an Earth ruled midheaven, this is how you're going to be positioning your brand to stand out and to take up space. So the Earth element, one of the keywords that I love using, very practical, grounded, sustainable. When you think of earth, literally like in your fingers, it's something that you can touch, you experience, you can smell it, you can hold it in your hands, right? So if you have an earth ruled midheaven, you can do very well in work that is very grounded, very rooted in something that is tangible and that is practical. However, you can still thrive in the online business space by providing tangible solutions, tangible outcomes to your audience, helping them with very real problems that they're dealing with. This is also an element that does very well in focusing on sustainability, keeping things really simple and streamlined within your business, and also being very practical. This is not necessarily the space for working with large ideals, but rather keeping it very simple, to the point, and very straightforward. Do you help your clients with producing a specific outcome? Do you help them achieve a specific result? The more that you can zero in on this within your branding and within the work that you do, the problems that you solve within your business, that's going to really help with overall business success. And when it comes to the brand positioning, you want to position yourself as the leader that has expertise. You know what it is that you're talking about. Even if you don't have formal education behind it, can you show your receipts? Can you showcase the evidence of your work? Have you been in the game for a really long time? Let us see that. Showcase what you have done to get here, why we should trust you, why it is that you are the person that we should be working with that particular thing. Okay, so again, using myself as an example with my Taurus midheaven, I have this extensive background within not just the astrology space, but the online business space as well. I have the receipts to show. I showcase that. I actively work with clients and I work with mentors, and I have this long backlog of work to back up the things that I'm saying, to showcase my expertise. I also have things like within my marketing, like the podcast, like my YouTube channel, like my blogs, to showcase that I know what it is I'm talking about. I have all these different ways of showcasing my expertise and sharing it out with the world. So if you have an Earth ruled midheaven sign, this is so important that you have a catalog that people can literally go through, and ideally without you necessarily having to be online. So really relying on SEO, utilizing evergreen platforms to showcase this catalog of expertise can be really helpful in positioning your brand as the business that we should be working with, and you specifically as a leader that we should be taking notes from. The third midheaven element we're going to be talking about are the air-ruled midheaven signs. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I really love this because when you have an air-ruled midheaven, then you can really focus your brand positioning around thought leadership and individuality. More than the other signs, air-ruled midheavens are really, really gifted in being attuned to what the community and the collective need. All of these signs really share this beautiful notion of being intertwined and really deeply understanding the desire for change, for adaptability, for something different. So whenever I see clients that have air-ruled midheaven signs, I automatically think community-based platforms are going to be it for you. Like having some space where people can gather, they can come together around a shared idea, a shared ideal, a shared value, making your work go beyond just you, which separates you especially from the other midheaven types. Like fire-ruled midheaven signs do very well when they center their brand around them as an individual. And you can even do this as with an earth-based midheaven sign, but air-ruled midheaven signs in particular do their best work when they're able to connect to the community at large, make their work bigger than just them as an individual. It's more like you are the curator or the director for this energy rather than the one that is like, this is all about me. You're getting access to my work. It's more so like you're creating the community and creating the space for people to connect and see your particular perspective around a solution that they're looking for, or the change that they would like to see, the inspiration of what is possible for them if they put in the work, if they do this thing, if they follow this framework. But there's a lot of different paths to getting to that. It's a lot more fluid and flexible because air as an element, it isn't grounded. It isn't material. It's invisible and it's constantly around us. It's also something that we all share. It's something that we all need. Really attuning your business and your brand positioning to what is it that is missing from the collective? What is missing from my particular community? And what are the possibilities of what this change can look like can really, really benefit you in moving forward. I also see a lot of air-ruled midheaven signs do very well when they focus their brand around thought leadership. Okay, so your distinct point of view, your particular way of doing something, that is what we want to see from you. We don't want to see regurgitated anything. We want to see your own original IP, your own thoughts and process and ways of doing something, even if it is against the norm or something that is not being shared very much right now, because the air element, it isn't rooted in being tangible in the same ways as fire and earth and water. It has this ability to be very futuristic. So if you have an air-ruled midheaven, one of your gifts is being the futurist, being able to foresee, not necessarily fortune tell, but just like see trends before they happen. So be the one that is embracing that. Be the leader that is unafraid to be like, hey, this is what's coming. This is how I'm preparing my community for it. If you want to get the scoop of how to do that or what that looks like, then you have to be part of my community. That's where you're going to be doing your best work. So positioning your brand around your thought leadership, producing lots of media, having your own media ecosystem, also fantastic, and embracing innovation are things that are going to be so, so good for your brand positioning. And then last but not least, we have the water-ruled midheaven signs, so Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. When you have a water-ruled midheaven sign, connectivity and sensitivity to your community is so, so important. Centering your brand positioning around the emotional depth, your ability to connect and bring people together in a similar but different way to the air-ruled midheavens is where you're really going to thrive. So I see leaders that have water-ruled midheaven signs doing very well being just that, being the folks that have guidance or are providing some sort of support to their community. The water-ruled midheaven signs are also so good at leading people through a transformation. So while all of the midheaven signs and every business owner, right, is really good at providing some sort of solution to a problem. Water ruled midheaven signs do their best work when they're able to help support people through this point of transformation. So it's not necessarily so much about like, here's the before and here's the after, here's the beginning point of where you are and here's where you want to be, but really emphasizing the work in between those spaces. How exactly are you going to be supporting me as I'm moving through this change? Like, that's what I want to see from you with a water-based midheaven sign. It is also really important to lean into and embrace this aspect of your identity of being the guide, being the one that is providing support, right? Behind the scenes. It's almost like whenever you see like a movie about the hero's journey, there's always a point where they need to find like some sort of wizard or some sort of like guidance person, right? I'm thinking of Yoda, I'm thinking of Gandalf, I'm thinking of even like Dumbledore, right? All these people who provide some sort of sage wisdom to the hero in order for the hero to move through their journey. That is your role. You are that wizard that we want to get that guidance and support to in order to move forward along our journey. So really embracing that within your brand positioning, being the person that is providing that guidance and that support specifically through the transformation process, and helping us to embrace the shadows and not being afraid of things getting a little dark, getting a little murky, even for us to lose our way a little bit because we have you. So that's what we want to see from you within your business, really embracing the fact that you are the expert that is going to help us get through the dark times in order to get to that end point of where we want to be. So what I love about all of this is that when you recognize your midheaven sign, then you can lean into the specific gifts that you do best versus trying to make your business out to be an echo or a repetition of what somebody else is doing. We're all gifted in so many different things. And even if you have the same niche or are working in the same industry as another business owner, your midheaven sign is the first way to differentiate yourself from what other people are doing. So I'm very curious, what sign is your midheaven in? And also, what resonates for you about your midheaven sign? Definitely share that with me. And if you want to learn more about how you can use your midheaven to grow and scale your business, and definitely make sure that you join my upcoming course. All the information for the course, as well as everything else that I've mentioned in this episode, can be found in the show note below. So definitely check that out. I can't wait to see you in the course, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.